Westward from the Davis Strait, 'tis there 'twas said to lie. The sea route to the Orient, for which so many died.
What are you doing in Kentucky?
Seeking gold and glory, leaving weathered, broken bones, and a long forgotten, lonely cairn of stones.
You gotta go to the bottom of your stomach for that note.
For just one time, I would take the Northwest Passage to find the hand of Franklin reaching for the Beaufort Sea, tracing one warm line through a land so wide and savage.
I didn't appreciate being blue-balled. By the way, there were so many jokes online about everyone being like, did SpaceX break a record on how many times they blue-balled me? Because they kept on resetting the count. Like, in repetition. I was like,
brave Kelsey, where his sea of flowers began. Watching cities rise before me, then behind me sink again. This tidiest explorer, driving hard across the plain.
do we have an echo chat?
For just one time, I would take the Northwest Passage to find the hand of Franklin reaching for the Beaufort Sea.
What were you, a Habsburg or a McCoy, German boy? Because there are plenty of Hatfields and McCoys, excuse me. There are plenty of Hatfields and McCoys in Kentucky, so it's kind of hard to recognize which. I'm getting a haircut this year. You gotta post that haircut, boy. If you get a bowl cut, I'm gonna laugh.
Warm line through a land so wide and savage, and make a Northwest Passage to the sea.
Hatfield.
And through the night,
Who started it?
behind the wheel, the mileage clicking with.
Yeah, he got his ass hurt about
I think
Hatfield leaving, right?
McKenzie, David Thompson,
God, yeah, the bloodiest civil war that America had ever. I mean, the only civil war, but the bloodiest battle we'd ever dealt with. God forbid I want to leave.
to raise the roaring Fraser to
You gotta stick up his ass.
Ants, which I mean, like, I get it.
for just one.
That's on him. He knows what he was doing.
Take the Northwest Passage to.
Yeah,
And Randall,
you should have probably listened to your friend.
when he came back, he was like, just found
I
every
honor
reason.
loyalty, not stupidity. You know what I mean? He's like, you're gonna die. Live to live another day.
In the hand of Franklin reaching for the Beaufort
The launch is
Sea,
probably gonna be like
tracing
45 minutes after their streams.
line through a land so wide and savage, and make a Northwest
Chat, is there an echo when I don't have my headphones on and my music just playing through my speakers? Because y'all also hear the
How
audio.
then am I so different from the first men through this way?
This live is not sponsored.
Like them, I left a silent life. I threw
Randall
it
served no
all
purpose.
away to seek a Northwest Passage at the call.
Though what they did to that poor sweet autistic boy was bullshit.
To find their but the road back home.
I'm sorry, no, that poor fucking kid, dude. Because what? I guess is cognitively what? A kid?
Yeah, I would say that he's autistic, but I would say he also had other problems. Because that's not just autism. Developmental delay.
Yeah, I can turn the music down though. That would help.
Again. take the Northwest Passage
And
to
his brother.
find
Did you hear about Tulsi Gabbard's husband?
reaching
She's stepping down because her husband has bone cancer. Like a
tracing
not good bone cancer. Huh? She's the. You recognize her actually, probably. Look up Tulsi Gabbard real quick.
Take a Northwest Passage to the sea.
Cotton Top wasn't even actually autistic. They just added that for the hell of it. But we,
I don't know. Look at the fucking pictures of them. He looks pretty fucked up.
you gotta assume. And at some point, probably also, yeah, her. It's rough. I mean, shit. Damn. Here, when's the last time you heard this song? Hold on. Okay.
Since the day of time regretting
No. This one.
This is him. The real one.
Yeah. I'm doing good. Broke is all hell, but you know, we're making it. Barely. We're okay though. Baby's almost here. She's ready to get that baby out of her, you know.
She's supposed to be here.
But I'm glad you are doing great, Mr. Surveillance Fan. Does my GPU hate me? Probably. You're playing BMG. Fun fact, turns out JD Vance isn't even a relative to Hatfield. He's a LARPer. I have no way of confirming that, so it's right now. I'm not gonna go Google that right now, but I don't care. Either way, JD Vance is still I mean, you know, a run-of-the-mill. People often continue to immortalize the VP picks with their presidents, and I think that's wrong. JD is a very young guy comparatively. All these other politicians, I mean, most of all these other politicians are fucking born in the 40s, okay, or the 50s. So it's really hard to give a good cold cut comparison. But he's pretty good. He's competent. He knows how to talk. He's not easy to anger. He's intelligent enough to be able to, you know. Plus, the memes of JD are great. And also, he's a good sport about it. And everyone's a big dick. He'd be like, oh my god, of course he's, okay with it. It's like, yeah, who isn't going to look at it? If y'all made me look like that, how would I not think that's funny? I got a potluck to go to. I gotta go to. Good luck. And let me know all the hot gossip, because potlucks are always full of those. Speaking of son.
He's not doing anything.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. He was closing his feet, preventing me from doing it. You're a little shithead. Look. Oh my goodness. Kentucky sucks, not gonna lie. I mean, there's a bunch to do in Kentucky. Don't choke me with your feet. You little... He's very ticklish. Hold on. I'm just trying to pull your shirt down.
Hey, baby, do you have any dinner ideas? 'Cause, I want to actually do something. Because I know I haven't, done anything to the point where people are kind of having to make shit up for dinner
Yeah.
that we don't really have.
Surveillance Fan says at potlucks I usually eat and do small talk and then leave. I do an Irish goodbye every time.
Well, not anymore.
the difficulty.
We have to hug everybody.
God, I get it, but come on. Ow!
If you do that at my family gathering,
Son, I know you don't understand me. You're a 2-year-old, but don't bite Dada's scalp.
He's like,
No biting.
Aw.
No biting.
Aw, darn.
You okay? You good? We agreed upon. You can hang out there, but don't nom. Don't.
But it's right there.
You're so cute. You can move, Bubba. You can move your arm. You can move your arm now. Okay.
Bite him.
You're so cute, dude. Don't you bite me. Jack, he's trying to bite me.
No, he's not.
Oh,
If you don't hit him
sorry.
against the wall,
He's getting too long.
He is too long for your arms.
Ah. I got long arms.
No, you don't.
I got long arms. What are you talking about? Woo! You're nice and warm, son. Oh. Yeah, I know.
Oh.
Gonna have to deal with that chat. He's a little baby. Bye-bye. Hey, you're okay, dude.
Operators on countdown 1. Flight directors go for launch. Stage separation. Starlink burn center. Booster has been added. Starship
Hello once again, Star people, and welcome back to Starbase, Texas. It's currently 5:01 p.m. Central Time, and we are just 28 and a half minutes away from the first flight of SpaceX's next generation vehicle, Starship version 3. Yesterday's launch attempt was scrubbed due to a hydraulic pin on the pad tower that wouldn't retract. But good news, the teams were able to resolve that issue, and we're proceeding ahead with attempt number 2 and blue skies to boot. I'm Kate Tice, Senior Manager of Quality Systems Engineering.
And I'm Jake Berkowitz, a lead propulsion engineer. And today we're coming to you live once again from just outside the production floor at Star Factory, where the team's preparing for Starship's 12th test flight.
Yeah, yesterday was certainly a nail-biter as we recycled to the T.
I muted my mic because this boy was screaming.
Minus 40-second hold a couple of times, and while we unfortunately weren't able to lift off, keep in mind that this is the first flight of a completely redesigned vehicle. So we actually learned a lot in what became a wet dress rehearsal yesterday.
Yeah, that's right. And Starship version 3 has undergone significant upgrades, taking everything we've learned from the previous 11 flights to make a vehicle capable of full and rapid reusability.
We're debuting a new launch pad, new booster, new ship, and new engines, just to name a few.
Yeah, that's right. And as a member of the Raptor team, I can tell you we're all super excited to finally see the newest generation of Raptor engines, also V3, take flight today.
I love that view looking up under the Super Heavy. Now, Raptor and Starship version 3 are designed to enable us to send payloads and eventually people all the way to the moon and Mars.
Yeah, and in the meantime, we're planning to put Starship to work on future flights by launching bigger and more powerful Starlink version 3 satellites, which aim to substantially increase capacity in orbit, strengthen the network, and deliver an improved experience for customers.
Now, turning our attention back to today, our primary objective for Flight 12 is to put these new redesigns all together in a real, live flight environment. From the outside, a lot might look familiar on Starship, but beneath the surface, it's all new. As we've said before, Starship is still a developmental program. What we're doing today is a test. We launch to learn, and we test like we fly.
Yeah, and it's really the data we're expecting to get back from today's flight that will bring us closer to making Starship operational and unlocking the next generation of our future in space. So, no matter the outcome of today's test flight, excitement is guaranteed.
Now let's head a couple floors upstairs where Dan Hewitt is just outside our Launch Control Center. How's it going up there today, Dan?
It's going great, Kate. Everybody, welcome back for round 2. I'm Dan Hewitt with SpaceX Communications. We're looking good for our launch today. Do you want to do a quick summary, though, of what we saw yesterday, how we got back to launch? It's a really good example of all of the different moving parts that have to work together to get a rocket off the pad. About halfway up that tower, you see an arm that holds all of the propellant connections into the ship. It's also set up so it kind of pushes against the ship to help make sure that we have a really good connection, and it stays attached when we unlatch that quick disconnect. There's a pin in the arm near where that attaches to the tower that has to be removed before the arm can swing away for launch. It's important to remember there's a lot of benefit to not release the arm too early or too late, and a lot of hardware that has to work in concert in very, very short time frames. We started to unpin it. Releasing that tension caused some motion in the arm that triggered a hold, and that put the pin back in. Then that got us into a bit of a tug of war between systems on the tower that rely on hydraulic pressure to work. Really, the arm trying to keep its pressure on the ship and trying to pull that pin out. You saw we made a couple of attempts to fix the issue, eventually got the pin to start retracting again, but hit the same motion hold. Ultimately ran out of time. The team, though, made some hardware, some software changes to get us into a better position to fly today. We had the tower team up there last night. They welded in some hardware that's going to cut down on the motion of the arm as it's pushing back when the pin's released. And getting all the data we saw on how this hardware interacts in those critical moments, went in, looked at our software, all of our logic, see where we were overly conservative, where we may have had holds built on the wrong readings or the wrong times. Overall, though, really fast work by the engineering teams put us in a position for flight today. Heroic work by our logistics teams to get all the propellant out there. But things are looking really good for launch at the moment. Right behind me, all of the flight controllers on console, looking at the rocket, looking at the pad, looking at the range, all the systems as we count down to liftoff. Propellant load is underway. You can see the rocket getting frosty. We're on track to launch at the top of our window at 5:30 p.m. Central Time. Weather has been gorgeous. Thank you to everybody who was outside yelling at clouds that got us weather yesterday. It extended into today, and we are looking at a green range right now. Functionally, today's countdown, identical to yesterday. It looks very similar to previous Starship flight tests. Some minor differences in timing on things like when we start propellant load, when the water starts flowing on the diverter, when our engines start up. But all the hardware is new. New booster, new ship, new engines, new pad. Let's do another quick look at everything that's debuting today with Starship version 3. As Kate noted, some of the outside will look familiar, but we've made extensive upgrades across the entire system. Big picture, because Starship's still very, very big. It's just over 407 feet tall, fully stacked, a little bit taller than version 2, have more propellant in both stages. On the bottom half, our super heavy booster has some visible structural changes on the outside. On its top, we've got an integrated hot stage now, got rid of the one-time use one, so we're doing that for reusability. The ship's Raptor engines are going to be igniting directly into the top of the booster. That's where you're looking right now. All of that force and heat offset by the pressure inside the booster's fuel tank and a thin layer of non-structural steel. The grid fins on the booster, which we used to steer on descent, went from 4 down to 3, but we made them 50% larger. Higher strength, also use them for lift, and we'll use them for catch on future missions when we bring the booster back. We redesigned the fuel transfer tube inside the booster. That's what's sending all of that massive amount of liquid methane down to those 33 engines, lets us light all 33 at the same time and have faster, more reliable flips. The bottom of the booster looks very different with those Raptor 3 engines. We deleted all of the bulky engine shrouds from previous.
Hold on. Okay, hold on. German boy, when I said mod KSP, I said look up CKAN, CKAN. You have the CKAN EXE launcher. You put that in the main, you just slap that in the main directory of KSP. You launch that motherfucker. You pick the mods, it'll handle everything for you. But no. All we're doing is we're taking the main game and we're adding things that people have made, mods, and we slap them in there. Big example, KSP. It has a bunch of new stuff. RimWorld, a bunch of new stuff. There's a billion mods just for sushi. I'm not even joking. There are 10 mods that are all made by the same person, and they're all texture mods for about 40 different varieties of sushi that could pop up as a graphic over sushi you make in game. But anyway, CKAN is like, it does it all for you.
Generations, all of the prop, world's best engineering team getting this rocket to the pad, ready to launch today. I'm gonna
It's
stop
chili
talking
con
for a little bit.
queso,
I'll
not
set it back
butter.
down to
I'm not.
Kate
I don't
for
have.
pad two.
I don't have
Yeah,
tortilla
so
chips, and
like
I'm
Gavin
just
was
eating
saying, the team is
straight
working hard on
butter.
a new rocket, but we also redesigned the ground systems, and that brand new Pad 2 is making its debut today.
We took everything we learned from operating on Pad 1 to create this totally new launch pad. Pad 2 is optimized for full and rapid reusability. We've upgraded our propellant farm with much more
baby.
storage and more pumps to enable super fast filling for launch and relaunch. And on the tower, we changed to shorter chopsticks. That's the black assembly there at the top of the tower, and that enables even faster motion to better track vehicles flying in for catch.
Yeah, and we also changed the actuators driving those chopsticks from hydraulics to 100% electromechanical, increasing their speed, redundancy, and reliability. On the ground, the launch mount was also completely redesigned, and if I had to describe it in one word, I'd say robust. But it's also smarter. We've separated the fuel and aux systems into different compartments and repositioned the booster quick disconnects to be out of the vehicle during liftoff.
It is.
And
It
as you
is
can see
not
on your
the
screen,
perfect
we also
size
have
for a
new
bowl of cereal. I
bidirectional
like a
flame
big heaping
diverter
bowl of
and a
cereal,
new
to be honest with you.
top deck flame deflector to eliminate metal wearing down. So we said goodbye to the pancake. However, this will help us get to zero refurbishment between launches. Now, this pad is still built for maximum safety and fast turnaround because making life multiplanetary will require launching a lot of Starships. Now, it's currently T-minus 18 minutes and 38 seconds. We're going to hop over to Hawthorne for a moment for more on Starlink with Tyler Lionquist. Tyler?
Hey, Kate, thank you so much. I'm Tyler Lionquist, and I'm a Starlink business analyst here at SpaceX. We're excited to be back here in Hawthorne, ready for another attempt at a launch today. So as we talked about yesterday, on today's flight, we're deploying 20 Starlink simulators, plus 2 modified Starlink satellites, which our team internally refers to as Dodger Dogs, because they stretch the V2 Mini satellite propellant tank so that it sticks out from both ends of the satellite. And the Dodger Dog serves as a tech demo between the V2 and the V3 Starlink satellites, and acts as a platform for testing V3 components. Now, the larger V3 satellites aim to greatly expand our network's capacity, while V3 hardware is designed to support faster Wi-Fi and improved broadband speeds for our customers while providing significant capacity upgrades from the V2 Mini. So, in addition to delivering future V3 satellites to the Starlink network, Starship is also planned to launch our AI satellites. And as you may have seen during the TerraFab event in Austin a few months ago, Elon laid out the path to revolutionize cloud computing and AI infrastructure, leveraging the unlimited power of the sun, targeting 100 gigawatts to 1 terawatt of AI computing power annually. And from there, we're looking at connectivity beyond our planet too. Building on the technologies used to connect people on Earth, the Starlink team is exploring using Starlink to enable high bandwidth connectivity around the moon. With a constellation of satellites designed to connect to user terminals on the lunar surface, we could relay data back to our Starlink constellation in Earth orbit. So traditionally, deep space comms have relied on radio frequency transmission. But this new design would use lasers to relay data back to Earth, which can massively increase the bandwidth available to future lunar missions. We currently have thousands of lasers operating.
What do
in our
you
Starlink
mean you
constellation
don't
around Earth.
eat cereal,
Deploying that
German boy?
technology around the moon could connect it with
What do you mean
hundreds
by
of
that?
terabits of capacity.
Who
Together,
doesn't eat
this
cereal?
could provide the connectivity
Like at
backbone
all?
between the Earth and the moon, and enable gigabit connectivity anywhere on the lunar surface.
You're
providing
telling me if
data
I
for
bring my
rovers,
Starlink dish to the moon, I'll get
and
internet?
astronauts,
Yo.
And hopefully some incredible views for us back on Earth too. So all of that adds up to a lot of satellites. But the good news is there's still plenty of space in space.
Cereal's
That said,
delicious.
The Starlink team takes space safety extremely seriously.
I don't eat
We're
cereal.
trying to
I
encourage
eat
best
I
practices
eat
across the
muffins.
entire industry
Completely
so space
different
safety
genre
is
of
for as
food.
many people as possible. In fact, just yesterday, the Starlink team published a new update on Starlink.com to encourage all satellite operators to better coordinate and follow best practices to keep space safe. So for more on safety, go to starlink.com/updates. And with that, let's kick it over to Kate and Jake and Starbase for today's mission profile.
Thanks,
He
Tyler.
bit
Now
my
let's dive
scalp.
into the flight profile for today's test. As we've mentioned already a couple of times, there are numerous redesigns making their debut today across the entire launch.
Shackman is in
And like
cereal
this,
is
we
just
want to keep
dessert
our learning
soup.
Focused on all of that new hardware and software. So
I have
we're running a
celiac
flight
disease.
profile
Well, that
that's
makes
similar to
sense.
past Starship flights in order to minimize any new variables.
Yeah, that's right. So, as always, we start with liftoff,
Hold on.
where Super Heavy
Hold on.
ignites
I'm gonna
33
pause the
of
live
those
for a
brand
second.
new
Or I'm gonna
Raptor-
mute. I don't eat cereal. It makes me burn up.
What? I think you're allergic. Dog, what?
German boy.
Dog, I think you're allergic. That's not normal.
Dog, I don't think that's normal.
It's not normal. You're allergic. I think so what? Maybe.
I would argue breakfast pizza served in school lunchroom back in the early 2000s was amazing. Yeah, with the half of jar of cumin that inundated it. Yeah. So you wouldn't think of the fact that the bread or the cheese tastes like cardboard. The taco and breakfast pizzas in school, did y'all ever have them? They had a half a jar of cumin all over it just to get away from the fact that they put so much taco seasoning on the taco pizzas to the point where I said 90s.
You said breakfast pizzas.
Well, both breakfast they put taco
They didn't do that
seasoning.
to us. Yours maybe. They did not do that to us.
Well, the South has really good breakfast, so.
Ah, god damn!
You said in the 90s? Early 90s. Yeah, that's before my time. Before my time. Yeah, the early 90s was well before my time, actually. Guess my age, Dark.
Over his broken body, whispering that into his ear, as you can hear him wheezing in the background.
Are on track today, looking.
You
good
think
for a
I'm
launch right now
37?
at 5:30 p.m. Central Time.
You think I'm
All right, so
37?
we're gonna do that right at the top of our window. Once again, though, we're gonna be targeting to send Starship around the world for splashdown in the Indian Ocean. We had a really quick check-in yesterday with the Starship
37!
out there on
That's pretty
station.
offensive.
They're helping us to maintain the range and a whole lot
He's
more.
26.
So let's jump back out there once more. Today we've got Seren Sinai joining us live from the boat deck out in the Indian Ocean, a couple hundred miles off the coast of Australia. Seren, how's it going, man? Welcome to the Flight 12 wet.
I have
How's everything
alopecia.
looking out there in the landing zone.
So, yeah.
Dan, it's a pleasure to be here. I'm not gonna lie to you, it's a little rougher than it was yesterday. Nighttime, it's hard to see the horizon, but we're looking at about 10-foot seas, and we're loving
It's
it.
not
but
genetics.
It's rough.
All right, what's
In
your guys'
fact,
primary
actually,
job out there? I mean, you're out.
There's a
kind
big
of in the
dent
middle
in my
of nowhere. What
skull
are you guys
from the
doing?
biopsy. They checked.
So, like as you mentioned, like it's usually a 500 to 600 nautical miles sail from shore, and our primary goal is as a range clearing group. So, like we come out here and make sure there's no one else in the area so the rocket can launch. But that
I've never
kind of
heard that
allows us
before.
to do our second
Have you
goal,
ever
which is
heard
to
someone
conduct,
burning up?
Imagery
Like
of
you'll
the rocket
legitimately
as
get a
it answers and
fever?
as it splashes down. We get a lot of other data, but like the primary one is for sure imagery, with an ensemble of maritime and aerial-based assets.
And talk to us a little bit because it's evolved over time. Kind of.
It sounds like you have a gluten allergy.
To talk us through where we today.
Yeah, I think some people know, but like the Mark Z bots are quite identifiable. That's the buoys that we use, and they were originally used as sailboat racers, and we kind of put them in as a Hail Mary attempt on Flight 5 to get imagery of the
dude.
rocket as it came down.
Yeah.
And we all thought it maybe would have worked, but we were super shocked and really pleased to see all of the buoys pointed right at the rocket as it came down, which was a testament to not only the scrappy engineering we were able to put together, but also the rocket's ability to land right on target. And then since then, we've kind of iterated more and more. And
Yeah, it
these
sounds
buoys
like an
have become
allergy
way
instead of
more
an
robust and
intolerance.
have now a lot more data collection materials, not just visual imagery. And as a result, they kind of are the most mature versions they've ever been. And it's really cool because almost all the buoys that we're deploying now for Flight 12, we just
Baby,
got off.
someone said you can eat cereal, just wash it down with a bottle of baby Benadryl.
Off our back.
Was there a tennis scene?
Yeah, it was the tennis.
You want to see? I know exactly the one. I know that I have the real clip. Hold on.
Calls with each other and like work on documents with each other, send things to each other in like a very timely manner because of the Starlink on the boat. But not only that, each one of these buoys is equipped with a standard Starlink Mini, the one you would just get from like ordering it commercially, and that allows us to not only operate the buoy remotely, but also to get live stream data and telemetry, which is honestly super useful, and I don't think we have another solution for it without Starlink.
All right, before I let you go, what's it like? You're out there, and then all of a sudden, Starship appears out of the sky. What's that feel like, man?
And I can't lie to you, it feels awesome. Just by being on the boat, not seeing any land for miles and miles, and then hearing the Starship crack down with its sonic booms and watching it breach through the sky, it is one of the most magical feelings on Earth, and really excited to feel that again today.
All right, well, thanks, Seren. Good luck, man. Hopefully we're sending a rocket your way real soon. Thanks for joining us in, man. I'm going to send it now back down to Kate and Jake for the latest progress we're making at Cape Canaveral in Florida.
Thanks, Dan. Now,
When
if
you
we'd
know,
like to get to
when you're in the,
and then Mars
when you're
as
in the
fast as
waiting room of
possible,
the
there's
audition
really
building
only
and you
one
hear
answer,
that,
and it's to launch a lot.
ah,
And to do that, we're going to need a few more launch pads and support buildings.
OMG, I tweezed a nose hair and it made my eye start pouring
So
tears.
Apollo,
Yeah.
And then the space shuttle Launch Complex 39A has flown 126 Falcon missions since SpaceX reactivated the pad in 2017.
Yeah, I actually remember the day that we did that. I was able to host the live webcast for that first launch out of Pad 39A, and it was just so amazing to see that pad come back to life. And it's also exciting to see how today, almost 10 years later, the ongoing construction, as you see there on your screen.
Do y'all want to see the
and
launch?
the development that will bring a second launch
It's
tower
Big
to the
Rocket.
launch
Well, it's in
complex
8 minutes 30
It's
seconds.
designed to expand our capabilities to support
No, I'm
Starship
asking
launches in the
if y'all
future,
want to
while also
watch it. I'm
continuing
not
to support
asking if
Falcon
it's about to
missions
happen. I'd
from
be
the
way
original
more hyped
Apollo
if it was
shuttle
about to
launch
happen.
pad.
Come on, y'all.
Yeah, we're not done. We're also building a Starship launch pad.
I can
at
turn
Slick
my monitor.
37. And to support the uptick in future launches, there's Gigabay, a giant
I can move the
assembly and
camera,
maintenance facility designed to prep Starships ahead of Florida launches. And when complete, this huge structure aims to hold 24 work cells and over 800,000 square feet of workspace. It's gonna be a big building.
So much space.
So yeah, SpaceX's future in Florida is quickly taking shape with our very first launches on the horizon.
Exactly. A horizon that aims for regular trips to the moon. And speaking of moon, we've got another special guest for you today. Dan, I think the last time you and I were on a webcast with this person was Polaris Dawn, as he was performing the very first commercial spacewalk.
That's right, Kate and Jared. I don't know if today will be quite as cool as doing a spacewalk, but we're going to try our best to make it as exciting. Like, thanks for joining us here today, man. You had a heck of an entrance on the way in.
It's great to be here. Yep, certainly great to do a little bit of a flyby. I think they should accompany all the great rocket launches, and we certainly got a great rocket out there on the pad. But wonderful to be back, and no surprise, it's always changing here. It looks amazing.
I was gonna say it's been a couple of years. What was your impression flying in? It just
I love
the lay of the land.
NASA director
He
Eric
was
Wiseman,
actually,
but
10 months ago, I was here slinging
look at the
pizzas.
way he
Got a
holds
new
his
job,
hips.
but,
He's just like,
it was,
I'm just
there's
here, you
been
know. I
so
don't.
much that's changed even since then. Yeah, the facilities look amazing. All
The way
housing
he
that's coming in
stands is
here.
so
Of course, we had
interesting. I'm
2
sorry.
orbital launch pads out there and a rocket that's just looking fantastic, especially from the air. It's good.
Yeah, you said you got a new job. It's been a slow start to your first 6 months. I mean, you only sent humans around the moon for the first time since the Apollo days. Bill and I kind of nerded out a little bit. Like that was the last thing I worked on when I was at NASA. So seeing them go was just insane. Like, how's everybody feeling after the success of Artemis 2?
Well, I'd say I have the best job in the world, and I certainly work with an unbelievable team. I mean, as you know, that mission was a long time in the making. So I got to show.
He's
at
a
the right
fucking
time to see
G.
everybody,
He's
put all that
accelerating
effort
the
to,
timetable
put it in
and
action.
what we
But
really need
what a
to do to
great
push
mission.
to go to
Those
space.
4 astronauts, you
It's
couldn't
very.
have better,
I'm very,
better
very pleased
ambassadors
that
for
he's the
humankind to the
director of
stars. I mean,
NASA.
they really brought us all along for 10 days, and we're getting ready for what comes next. We're going to start stacking Artemis 3. We got a lot of the hardware in the VAB already. We're hoping to even get out to the pad before the end of the year, do another wet dress. So,
all right.
And we're looking forward to seeing this thing fly, because hopefully at some point in the not too distant future, we're gonna join up in Earth orbit.
Yeah, I mean, what's coming up next, and ultimately, like, based on the moon, that's the big focus. Like, what's kind of the why? Like, why are we doing this for everybody?
Oh, well, I mean, and yes, we're certainly trying to get back to the moon, but what's coming up next? We're also building a moon base in parallel. And why are we doing that? Well, it's for a lot of the shirts I see around here, which is Occupy Mars. I mean, what a great opportunity. Go to the moon, return to the moon, build a moon base on the South Pole, interact with the water ice, right? Maybe work on some of those skills we're going to need when we're 4 days away from home for what we might need someday when we're 9 months away from home. But we got other things coming up too. You got Nancy Grace Roman, that telescope's going to launch later this summer. There's a lot of great, exciting things going on at NASA right now.
Yeah, man. All right. Well, SpaceX, we're custom built to try and make life multiplanetary. We're super honored, excited to be part of this entire Artemis program. Really excited to see Starship, sending people to the moon, all of the different pieces working together. It's going to be a really exciting future.
Oh, absolutely. Well, thanks for having me here. It's great to see everybody. Again, I know a lot of hard work leads up to a moment like this, so we're all rooting for you, and we're looking forward to meeting up next year in Earth orbit.
All right, man. Well, I'll let you jump back in there. We got about 4 minutes to go. I'll just toss it back down to Kate and Jake.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say we could listen to you guys yap about the moon pretty much all day. It's so inspiring to hear about the future of exploration on the moon. And if you caught the show yesterday, you also heard some more future space exploration news.
Yeah, that's right. From to Mission Commander Chun Wang will be one of the first humans to become an interplanetary traveler. Don't think I've ever said that word before. While also joining Starship's first mission to fly past the moon.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Amazing. In fact, that Dragon capsule that you saw there was Dragon Resilience. That is the same Dragon.
I'm gonna say this right now. I unfortunately have so much responsibilities on the surface. There's hey, they have a guy. His name is like Chun Li. Chun. He said Chun. He is going to be one of the crew members that are going to go be in the Starship when they have the Starship that goes around the moon. But also, he's going to be one of the crew members that when they sent a Starship to just Mars and then they do a flyby and then they head right back. If I didn't have so many responsibilities on Earth, I'd be like, let me go around the moon just once. Then I can make the joke and actually mean it. To the moon, Alice! No? Damn.
Running from the farm up to the launch mount, just kind of harden the area and get it up to the launch mount.
I tried.
Just kind of harden the area and get it ready for launch. We're gonna peek inside, hopefully see the engines do a little wiggle as we do our final steering check. That'll happen at T-minus 100 seconds, and then after we get through T-minus 40. If you tuned in yesterday, you're very familiar. If we need to hold, we can go into what's we're called rapid recycle, essentially, where we can hang out at T-minus 40 seconds. It's built in. We're only gonna hold if there's an issue, not currently tracking one. They can pop up after we pass T-minus 40. Right now we're looking good, hopefully going to move right past that.
And then once we do pass T-minus 40 seconds, a number of events will occur in quick succession. That is when the QD vent gate or quick disconnect vent gate will clear the gas commodity lines that connect the pad to the vehicles. Both the ship and the booster will configure their comm systems for flight and will rapidly run leak checks on gas and fluid tanks. And the booster goes to internal power and its engines will get their final priming for launch, while the ship's engines begin their assembly profile and arms the automatic flight safety system.
Yeah, and once we pass T-minus 40 seconds, we still have the ability to rapidly recycle the count under certain conditions back to T-minus 40 seconds. And
looks like we might be getting some engine wiggles here, as Dan mentioned earlier. These allow us to check out the thrust vector control actuators on these engines.
Hey, you know that meme where it's
important
the
to make sure that they can steer.
Hey, you want to play
yeah,
Uno?
that's definitely right. And
I don't have
diverter
Uno.
on pad 2 activates.
Do you have an Xbox? You have Uno. Everyone who has an Xbox has Uno. You know that
the
meme.
point of no return at T-minus 10
You've
seconds.
never heard that?
If we have a hold close to T-minus 17
That's like
seconds,
a
there's
that's
chance
like
we
oh
could
my god.
recycle, but the
So
closer we get to
it's a very
T-minus
meta
10,
meme at this
the
point.
lower
It's
that
very
chance becomes.
old.
We just
Because
heard
it was like
we're
on
at T-minus 1 minute.
Xbox
Yeah, so
Live
at this
voice
point
chat.
in time, we're going to stop talking.
But
We're gonna let
someone
the rocket
made it
take
a
over and
Latin
listen to some
statues
amazing
with
pad
gaming
sounds of the
headsets, and
first
it's
flight of
all
Starship
in
version 3.
perfect Latin. 40 seconds! Oh no, they're holding. They're holding. They always hold.
All right, we are holding. We were just waiting for the fuel pushbacks to complete into the prop farm. We did hear that that did just complete, so expecting them to reset that hold shortly.
Was that man? Was that one I did?
Clock, hold is reset, clock is rolling.
Oh. Oh, 30 seconds! Ah!
Silas, come here.
Come here!
Get him.
Come here!
You're good. It's like, what are we doing?
Ah.
Minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, ignition.
downrange.
Dude, how did they make that plume look even meaner?
Booster Raptor, chamber pressure nominal.
All right, we are T plus 30 seconds into flight. Seeing 33 out of 33 Raptor 3 engines on booster V3. Ascending over the Gulf now. Coming up
Did you
on
see the
maximum
clouds
aerodynamic
and the
pressure.
gas and the steam just absolutely go ballistic?
Systems looking good. We're just passing through the period of maximum dynamic pressure.
God damn, that thing took the fuck off.
A little over a minute into flight now. Vibrations chilling out here at Star Factory as we continue to watch.
It's probably
Starship
burned
Flight
about
Club arc out
1,000
over the
tons
Gulf.
of
The
fuel
next major
already.
thing coming up is going to be hot staging.
Booster process
Reminder, we do what's
Look
our
at the
version of
fucking
Miko. Most engines
beautiful
cut off, so
fucking
we're going to shut down
color.
all but 5 of the Raptor engines on the booster. And then after that happens, we're going to ignite the 6 engines on ship while it is still attached. We have clamps that hold the 2 together. Those are going to retract inside of that hot stage ring, kind of protect them. Looks like we had one of the engines go out, still flying on 32 of the Raptor engines. But again, once we get the hot staging, those 6 engines on the ship are going to ignite. We're going to do it in a little bit different of a sequence on version 3. Essentially, those 3 RVAC engines will ignite
Y'all
first.
see those little like
Almost
droplets
immediately
of
after,
water?
just
That's so
one
pretty.
of those central engines is going to ignite, and that's going to give the booster a bit of a kick, sending it in a known direction, followed shortly after by the other 2.
Look at the shadow on the ocean. Wow.
We're through Miko.
Separation.
Hot staging, let's go. Don't blow up. Oh, fuck yeah.
There you go. Successful hot staging separation.
Ooh, something just happened.
We're not seeing as many booster engines ignite as we expected for boost back.
Something bad
We are
happened.
seeing 6 good sending it in a known direction, followed shortly after by the other 2. We're through Miko.
Separation.
There you go. Successful hot staging separation. We are not seeing as many booster engines ignite as we expected for boost back, but we are seeing 6 good engines lit on ship. It looks like we just had an early boost back shutdown. Again, a reminder, the booster was planned to essentially head into the Gulf for a splashdown, but it has shut its engines down early on into boost back. And we just see one of the RVACs, so we're now running on 5 engines on ship.
Fuck.
We do have engine out capabilities, so it's going to continue into its ascent.
You're okay, Boomer. You're okay. That's
You got booster on the left there, ship on the right.
Ship avionics power
Again,
and
we are
telemetry
not
nominal.
planning on bringing the booster back for this flight, as this was the very first time.
Okay, I don't know. No, you're scratching me!
Alright, so we're about 3 minutes, 50 seconds into today's flight. Just a reminder that the ship planned to burn its engines for about 8 minutes and change. About 8 minutes and 11 seconds was our planned timeline for today. That could shift slightly as we do have 1 engine out, running on 1 fewer RVACs. Again, continuing to watch. So booster did not complete its boost back burn. We would not see. It's making sure ship's on its planned trajectory. Again, we are planning a suborbital trajectory for the ship today. booster, giving us some views as it continues to make its way back down towards the water. All right, so a little over 5.5 minutes in flight. Kate, Jake, you guys with me? It looks like boosters starting to come in hot.
Yeah, we had the opportunity to stand outside to watch launch, and wow, that was incredible.
Yeah, that was really loud, really shaky, and I was actually surprised how fast the booster got off the pad, or the whole stack. That was quite incredible.
Absolutely. So we have views here from the booster coming back down, making its way into the Gulf. Pretty cool to
We have
see.
healthy chamber pressures on 5 out of 6 Ship Raptor engines.
Great news there
Landing
for
startup.
Starship. Once again, we were not going to bring the super heavy booster back to the tower. We were planning on having it land in the Gulf.
I think it had exploded.
And it looks like the booster ended its mission there in the Gulf, but we've got a ship still flying. Great to see that. Still have 5 out of 6 engines there on S39.
Yes, we also heard good chamber pressures as well on those engines that are lit. We do have engine out capability. We do see that we have one of the RVAC, one of the Raptor vacuum engines that is currently out, but that's okay. Ship is continuing on. Amazing views of planet Earth there in the background.
Yeah, I love the S39 decal there. That just gives the ship a little bit of character. And again, all these great views brought to you by Starlink, of course.
Yeah, obligatory shout out to the entire Starship avionics, camera, electronics team. Did a look inside of the ship skirt. You can see those 3 center engines ignited. The RVAC's continuing to fire as well. We did see at least a couple engines fire up on booster for that landing burn before we lost contact with it. We should have just a little...
That booster had a catastrophic engine problem.
Little bit.
Which is not great.
For the engine out, essentially you can run your engines a little bit longer or throttle up a little bit more to
Ship's
account
still getting to orbit.
for the one engine not being lit.
But the booster, oof.
So right now we are standing by for Seco. And again, we are continuing to go a little bit longer.
Don't say the ship looks like a penis and say unmentionable.
Still burning on ship.
Say it. It looks like a penis. We all see it. The peener. Peener.
Coming up on T plus 9 minutes. Starting to see shut down.
Oh, that stinks.
RVACs have shut down. Sea levels are shut down.
Austin Powers joke? Yeah. Looks like a schlong. There you go.
See if we can get an update on the
German
ship
boy.
orbit insertion. But we have shut down again. We did run longer as we were engine out. We were flying with 5 of those 6 Raptors pretty much the whole time.
The ship, the upper stage looks great. It had one vacuum engine go out, which wasn't ideal, but they have a margin for error, so they can have an engine go out and still continue the mission. It's in orbit. 150 kilometer orbit.
In space right now.
It looks really cool.
as you can see, the teams are incredibly excited to see Starship there in space. We are awaiting the call out of nominal insertion, so we're going to stand by for that. We can see the flaps moving here, actuating. But wow, the cheers here in the lobby are certainly almost as loud as liftoff was.
Yeah. Man, a lot of action going on. And, you know, we said at the top of the show, excitement guaranteed. And we're only 11 minutes in. We still have a lot more to go here on the mission today. So all objectives are done on the booster. So now all eyes are on the ship as we get ready for our in-space objectives.
Exactly. So like I said, we're still standing by to hear the call out for nominal orbital insertion, but we've got a few minutes before the next milestone. So we're going to continue. We've got some amazing views here of the ship. Wow, it's just that this is our planet. This is our home. As a reminder, the objectives for ship today not only included the separation that we saw, but we're also planning to deploy 20
Ship is going
Starlink simulator satellites, as well as
26,450
2
kilometers an hour.
satellites, if that's what our internal teams refer to as our newer satellites. We saw a preview of those
Did you hear
earlier.
how fast it's going?
We should see those deployments here in a little bit. We're also hoping to perform a relight of a Raptor engine as well.
Boy.
Yep, that's exactly right. And the relight will look a little bit different this time. We're hoping to get a little bit of a longer duration. Of course, we got to see once we get there. And that relight won't actually be changing our orbit necessarily, but we're doing it more so as a technology demonstration.
For those of you that maybe just recently tuned in, you missed a pretty exciting almost 13 minutes. We had a liftoff pretty much on time, almost right exactly at 5:30 p.m. We did have a brief hold at the T-minus 40-second period, but we were able to proceed through that, and we saw a gorgeous liftoff. Jake and I were able to stand outside and witness that with all of our colleagues, and what a moment. I'll tell you what, it is a heck of a lot louder out here than it was at Ad Astra.
Absolutely. And a couple things I noticed on the way uphill today on the ship. So obviously it looks like we lost one of the RVACs on the way, but that is a good way to demonstrate our potential engine out capability there. So
exactly.
I think we actually saw the 3 gimbling engines kind of gimbal over a little bit to compensate for that offset in thrust. So that was really cool. That's something I know the team's been, we've analyzed that since Flight 1 all the way back. So it's something that we've thought about quite a bit, and it was kind of cool to see it in action in real life today.
Yeah, absolutely. If you couldn't tell, Jake is on the Raptor team.
Yeah. But hey, one non-Raptor thing I noticed also, back on the, when we have the shot of the aft flaps, it's a little weird. We have tiles on the leeward side, so not on the side where we're going to see heating. And you might be asking, why are we putting tiles there? I had the same question actually. So I talked to some of our heat shield engineers the other day, and we're actually running, yeah, here's the shot right here, great. So the fact that we're seeing all these tiles still on the flap right now is really good, because that actually was one of our experiments where we wanted to test different connection methods on the way uphill on ship, so actually Ascent. So it looks like most, if not all, the tiles are still hanging on there, so that's actually a really good data point.
Looks pretty good to me. Now once again, this view is from the side of Starship, which is basically the second stage of the Starship vehicle as a whole. This is one of the flaps on the vehicle that helps to control its position and attitude as it is orbiting, and also helps to control during re-entry as well. That's a critical phase. I mentioned earlier that we're hoping to deploy those Starlink satellite simulators, as well as perform an in-space relight of a Raptor engine. If all of that goes well, we will be targeting a soft splashdown in the Indian Ocean. We heard from Suren on the recovery team a little bit earlier. They are standing by waiting to receive the ship that we see here.
All right, let's send it upstairs. Dan, how's it looking?
Hey guys, we are looking good. It does look like we are within bounds of what we analyzed if we were down one of our RVAC engines, so I wouldn't call it nominal orbital insertion, but we're on a trajectory that we had analyzed and it's within bounds. So team's continuing to work through it with that engine out. They're working through some steps on the engines. We probably will end up skipping the Raptor relight for today, but it sounds like we should still be on for payload deploy, at least at this time. So very dynamic moments right here with the ship, but we do have it in space. It is on a trajectory now, headed towards the other side of the planet, and then a splashdown in the Indian Ocean. It's going to start to get darker. We're heading into an orbital sunset. So we're gonna have darkness for a little bit, and we'll brighten up once we're on the other side of the planet, and hopefully looking at some good daylight when we re-enter into the Indian Ocean.
Thank you.
And right now we're
payload deploy. Look at the payload door. The payload door's opening.
Deploy still.
Yes.
Coming up right on the part of the timeline when we were expecting it. Look inside a Starship there. Oh, I see a door opening. Looks like Hal didn't wait. Pez door is open. Just a reminder, we've got 22 deployables in the payload bay today. 20 of those Starlink mass simulators, and then 2 are Dodger dogs, as we like to call them internally, sitting out their modified V2 Starlink satellites. Those are going to be testing a bunch of components that we're planning to fly on Starlink V3, and we've also got them outfitted with a number of
thank you, Sohan.
Another tech demo that
appreciate you for the chilies, man.
This flight. We definitely are looking for a way that we can look at Starship's heat shield while it's still in space.
Appreciate
you kind of only
so
see
much.
so much from the cameras and the flaps. You can't see everything kind of on the underbelly, and one of the only ways you can do that is if you got something else flying near it. So we're going to attempt to our final 2 satellites going out the door have a suite of cameras on them that are going to be looking back at the ship. We're going to be in nighttime, and so we've got sounds like we're getting into payload deploy. We'll be in nighttime. They've got some powerful flashlights on them to try and illuminate the ship's heat shield while we fly away from it. So we see some Pez motion.
So they're really German boy. They're working on fixing that. It's used to got a lot worse, but the Starlink version 3s are going to be able to genuinely not put out that much reflection.
20 to go.
This will boost my Wi-Fi speeds once they start launching these, though. By the end of 2020,
as a reminder,
like
that's one of the things that we upgraded.
In like I think it'll go up to like gigabit speed once they get enough version 3s up.
So those satellites going to move out a little bit quicker than they did on previous Starship flight tests. So first 2 out the door, 2 more on their way out. All right, 4 down, 18 to go. Flexing my basic math skills here today. Again, the majority of this stack, 20 of these 22 satellites, they're essentially just mass simulators, so they're roughly the same size as those Starlink V3 sats that we're hoping to fly later this year. And from this top-down view, so you're looking down at the stack, those 2 satellites you see on the very top, that
they've already worked on it a
will
bunch
look very
recently
different. They've
for the
got
version
solar arrays,
2s.
They've got a bunch of other deployables on them that we're going to be testing out that are going to be V3 tech, and they've got 3 engineering cameras and then 1 other camera that's hopefully going to be giving us some views of Starship in space. But we will see how that works. Again, this very much a tech demo. We're going to deploy those. The satellite's going to.
I want you to pay attention, chat. Thank you for the 6 joules.
The primary reason
you
we're
see
trying
how
to do
big
this
these are,
is to
right?
get some views of the heat shield.
Picture them in your mind of how big they are, and then when they get up to the 2 version 2s, look at the size difference.
2 more out the door.
2 more out the door, and I think that counts, or that comes up to 8 total.
As you can tell, the teams are stoked to see this demonstration happening. It's pretty incredible to see this happening live from space. Now, as we noted earlier in the show, but worth repeating, this Starship, version 3, is built to deploy up to 60 of Starlink's more advanced V3 satellites. Everything's V3. Designed to offer 60 terabits per second of downlink capacity per satellite. Now that is 20 times more than each Falcon 9 does today. Incredible.
All right, I think that's number 10 going out the door. Yeah, there it goes. So yeah, the camera view you have on your left screen there is basically right at the bottom of the payload.
It's a good thing.
So
it's American
the
supremacy
kind of
in
dome-shaped
space.
structure you see there that's actually the top of the fuel tank.
Then the camera view that you have on the right is an external camera that we have positioned so that you can see basically the light through the open PEZ dispenser door that you see. That's that sliver of light. We can see the Starlinks here deploying as each one comes through. As we mentioned, we have 20 of these Starlink simulator satellites, and then we have 2 of these specially modified, as we call them, Dodger dogs here around here. Those, as Dan mentioned earlier, they have some V3 tech on them, some solar arrays, and those will be the last 2 that will be deployed today.
Yeah, that's right. And seeing this, as I think Dan called them turbocharged or supercharged PEZ dispenser, it's definitely coming out much faster than our previous flights. So that is really good to see. Yeah, look at that. And especially once we, fill Starship up all the way with around 60 or so of these Starlinks, being able to deploy them fairly expediently, is going to be important for designing the overall mission profile.
Yeah. Now, fans of Starship may know that Starlink enables lots of unprecedented views, both from space, as we see here, and on Earth. In addition to the dozens of cameras on Starship itself, we also have mobile Starlink camera kits deployed in the Indian Ocean.
Yeah, Starlink also connects our aerial cinematography units on the ground at Starbase and at other strategic camera spots around Texas.
It's all part of how it all comes together. to
Look
tell
at
the
the size
incredible
difference
story
between
of
the version
Starship both
2s and the
on
version
and
3s.
off
It's
planet.
literally puny.
Yep.
Look at the top.
All right, we're getting low on the stack. It looks like we got 2 more of those simulators to go out, and then it will be time for our Dodger Dogs, those modified Starlink satellites. Just a couple of updates while we continue to watch Payload deploy. Did get confirmation we're going to be
Who's
skipping
the goat wearing the
that
Mountain Dew
relight of the
t-shirt?
Raptor engine, just due to everything that we saw on the way uphill. Those sea level engines, we're going to use them for a landing burn though. They are still capable to be used for that. So we'll still look to do
They're
a
so
controlled
much
landing
smaller.
in the
Look
Gulf,
at that.
but no in-space relight. All right, I think that's 19 and 20 headed out the door. And then coming up are our Dodger Dogs. So these are modified V2 Starlink satellites. We do have a number of cameras on these that are going to attempt to look back at Starship. We're not going to get this video in real time, but we're going to try and turn it around if we do get some video down. So don't worry, if we get views of Starship from these satellites, we will be sharing.
So the
these will
top
be
ones are
exciting
V2.
because,
See
again,
the big
they're really a
V3
tech
ones,
demo,
big long giant
getting our
ones.
chance to
They
test
have
out
some
of the technologies
V2s
for version
decked out
3.
with a bunch of V3 equipment for testing and such.
All right, I think that's 18 and 20. My basic math skills are failing now. All right, here we go.
So they launched about a bunch of simulators for version 3 satellites, and these are version 2 satellites having a bunch of equipment for testing in the V3 components and stuff.
We're standing by for Starship, basically to serve the first Dodger Dogs to low Earth orbit.
There you go.
One out the door. From this view, you can kind of see on the right side of the satellite, you see some bright white spots. Those are our flashlights. Beneath them, the camera is going to attempt to look back and image Starship's heat shield as it flies slowly away from the vehicle. And there it goes.
Oh, there you go. Say cheese.
Let there be light.
Yeah, it almost looks like the light is just shining right at us there.
If you couldn't tell, we're pretty excited.
Yeah.
It is always sunny in space.
Always sunny in space, and that looks like an empty payload bed. So
Sure does.
that's exactly what you want to see there. That's great. So yeah, with payload deploy complete, oh, you can see the door closing there. All right, there we go. So yeah, with payload deploy complete, Starship will now close its... yeah, Starship, we close the payload door, and we're going to continue to coast around Earth all the way to the Indian Ocean. So still a lot of major events
See
to
the
come
guy
today.
jumping in the back.
Sounds like we're not going to hit that Raptor relight, based on what Dan was saying, but after that, of course, we'll have the atmospheric reentry and splashdown. And with that, we're going to go on another quick coast.
So sit tight, enjoy some amazing space views and the space jams, of course. And we'll be back in a few minutes for Raptor relight, or excuse me, not for the relight, but we'll be standing by for atmospheric reentry.
All right. Here's what I'm gonna do, chat. I'm going to kind of put this live on a sorry, hold on, sorry. A be right back kind of deal. Y'all go get some snacks. Go do what you have to do. I'm gonna have this live still open and just kind of wait for, you know, the re-entry, because I'd love to see that. So y'all sit tight.
Westward from the Davis Strait, 'tis there 'twas said to lie, the sea route to the Orient, for which so many died, seeking gold and glory, leaving weathered, broken bones, and a long forgotten, lonely cairn of stones.
For just one time, I would take the Northwest Passage to find the hand of Franklin reaching for the Beaufort Sea, tracing one warm line through a land so wide and savage, and make a Northwest Passage to the sea.
3 centuries thereafter, I take passage overland, in the footsteps of brave Kelsey, where his sea of flowers began. Watching cities rise before me, then behind me sink again. This tardiest explorer, driving hard across the plain.
For just one time, I would take the Northwest Passage to find the hand of Franklin reaching for the Beaufort Sea, tracing one warm line through a land so wide and savage, and make a Northwest Passage to the sea. And through the night, behind the wheel, the mileage clicking west, I think upon Mackenzie, David Thompson, and the rest, who cracked the mountain ramparts and did show a path for me to race the roaring Fraser to the sea. For just one time, I would take the Northwest Passage to find the hand of Franklin reaching for the Beaufort Sea, tracing one warm line through a land so wide and savage, and make a Northwest Passage to the sea.
How then am I so different from the first men through this way? Like them I left a saddened life, I threw it all away, to seek a Northwest Passage at the call of many men, to find there but the road back home again. For just one time, I would take the Northwest Passage to find the hand of Franklin reaching for the Beaufort Sea, tracing one warm line through a land so wide and savage, and make a Northwest Passage to the sea.
tracing one warm line through a land so wide and savage, and make a northwest passage to the sea.
And make a northwest passage to the sea.
king and his men stole the queen from her bed, and the king and his men stole the queen from her bed, and bound her in her bones. The seas be ours, and by the powers where we will we roam. Yo-ho, all hands, hoist the colors high. Heave-ho, thieves and beggars, never shall we die.
Now some have died and some are alive, and others sail on the sea with their keys to the cage and the devil to pay. We lay to fiddler's grave.
Yo-ho, all hands, hoist the colors high. Heave-ho, thieves and beggars, never shall we die. Yo-ho, all together, hoist the colors high. Heave-ho, thieves and beggars, never shall we die. The bell has been raised from its watery grave. Do you hear its sepulchral tone? We call to all, pay heed the squall, and turn yourselves toward home. Yo-ho, all hands, hoist the colors high. Heave-ho, thieves and beggars, never shall we die.
German boy, make 6-7 joke in my chat again. I swear to God, I'll put you in timeout, boy. I will. I will. What's happened? What opened? Is that like? Oh, is it some gas? Oh, it's just some gas. Okay. Shit.
A flight where we don't have communications with the spacecraft because it's re-entering at or around orbital velocity, roughly 8 kilometers per second, or for those of us that think in other units, roughly 5 miles per second. At those speeds, the spacecraft is moving through the atmosphere, and it creates that plasma field that we saw forming around the vehicle.
Yeah, and although the plasma looks really cool, it does distort some communication frequencies.
Yo, see that?
So it's not uncommon to
Behind the
experience
ship?
brief blackouts in communication. Of course, thinking long-term here, Starship is designed to land on Mars where there are no runways or other humans to help out. That's why we're going with the propulsive landing instead of a more traditional means like parachutes. Propulsive landing, not only, again, is it more cool, but it enables a more rapidly reusable rocket.
Yeah. Now we should hear some call-outs as the ship makes its way back to Earth. When we hear entry max heating and entry max Q, that means the ship has made it through the maximum heating and aerodynamic loads that it will experience as it returns. So if we make it through those, we're doing pretty well.
Yeah. And you can see in the bottom left right now, we're at 23,500 kilometers per hour speed. That's just crazy number to think about. But as we keep progressing the mission, we are going to hear a call out when the ship is transonic and then subsonic. So transonic refers to the period of flight where the velocities of airflow surrounding and flowing past the vehicle are concurrently below, at, and above the speed of sound, kind of in that Mach 0.8 to 1.2 range.
Okay.
And for reference, commercial jets have a range of cruising speeds, but mostly fly around Mach 0.74 to Mach 0.85. And after we hear the call out that Starship is transonic, we should hear the call out when Starship is subsonic. This refers to speeds that are much less than the speed of sound, so at this point in the flight, ship's velocity will be slowing down.
69.
We definitely have a crowd still here in the lobby of SpaceX headquarters down here at Starbase, Texas. Everyone is, loves watching ship re-entry. It's always such amazing colors. This must be what it feels like to be one of those praying mantis shrimp or mantis shrimp. Can't remember exactly what the name is, but the ones that see billions of colors. This is the closest I feel to being one of those.
Yep. I think one other thing that's cool to point out right now is look in the bottom right. You can see where we are on a globe there. We're squarely in the Indian Ocean already, and we've only been flying for 53 minutes.
Yeah.
So pretty crazy. We went all the way from Texas to the Indian Ocean in less than an hour.
Yeah. She flies pretty fast.
She
that
flies
is for
very
sure.
fast.
All right, so the light show continuing. We are through the period of peak heating, and we'll be looking at the peak pressure coming up in the next couple of minutes. The next 10 minutes are probably going to be the spiciest of entry today. As a reminder, we are going to be doing some stress work on the ship, where we're going to do a maneuver where we kind of kick the nose up to fully deploy those aft flaps to really get a good test of the structural strength of that part of the ship. We did that on one previous flight test on version 2. We're going to try and do that today. Since we did skip the in-space burn, we're carrying a little bit of extra propellant in our header tanks up in the nose, and so that's going to put a little bit of extra stress on those forward flaps as we come in. So we will see if they're able to hold through that re-entry. So that will be another watch item. We did skip that in-space burn, but we are expecting at least 2 of those sea-level engines to try and ignite for a landing burn. We entered the entry period in a good attitude, so hopefully making our way to the targeted splashdown point. We've got that Starship recovery team standing by, and we should be about 10 minutes away from splashdown. So a lot of excitement over the next couple of minutes. Kate and Jake, let's see how Starship holds up on the way in.
Yeah, and we just heard on the nets there that engine chill has started. So essentially what that means is we are prepping the landing engines by getting them down to temperature ahead of that landing burn later in the mission here.
And on a lot of our previous flight tests, we've been removing a bunch of the tiles if you've watched those, we were really intentionally trying to push ship beyond its limits. On the last flight, we even had basically a hole get punched into the liquid oxygen tank that you could see when we did the landing burn into the ocean, and this ship was still able to make it. But right now, we're really going to be testing the structural strength of these flaps on the way in. Again, this is a flight test. We're trying to intentionally find where our limits are. And in this view, you're looking at a whole bunch of tiles. I think Jake talked about it earlier. We bonded some additional tiles to the leeward, or kind of the metal side of Starship, to see how those different bonding techniques would hold up. And looking like we've got quite a bit still attached.
Yeah, and as we're going down through the atmosphere here, we are at about Mach 16.1. So still extremely fast, although we have, scrubbed off a substantial amount of our speed already. Altitude at a little less than 60 kilometers.
All right, we're about 8 minutes away from our targeted landing and splashdown time. Again, this is when the ship's going to start really
Ship
getting
is
put
approaching
through
the
ringer.
end of the peak heating region.
Just heard the call out, getting to the end of the peak heating. So the highest temperature the Starship's going to see during its reentry.
This camera angle changes as it is attached to the forward flap on Starship. So we're actually experiencing the articulation of that hardware, helping to steer the ship down for its precise landing in the Indian Ocean.
Yep, that is just a really cool, kind of cool piece of perspective there. I know some people say it makes them a little seasick, but I definitely love it. It makes it feel like you're really riding along with the ship on the way down.
Yeah, and aside from just looking cool, all these camera views providing just really critical data on how the heat shield, how the flaps themselves are holding up. That's why we've got these in the flaps and then all scattered all around the ship so you can see how they hold up. There's some internal to the vehicle too and we're getting all of this video back via Starlink. Even as we're just enshrouded in plasma, we're able to kind of operate at a high enough frequency to punch through, and that is blue ocean and sunlight you're seeing just beyond the flap. So we are coming down into daylight, hopefully splashing down in the next 6 minutes or so in the Indian Ocean. We've still got a couple maneuvers lined up where we're going to be really stressing the flaps on the ship. So
Ship has passed through the peak heating region. External temperatures are coming down.
Wow, that is incredible news. As Dan mentioned, we were expecting this reentry to be super spicy, but excellent news that we're now past that period of peak heating and that now the external temperatures are starting to decrease. Those heat shield tiles there on the belly of the ship really doing a ton of work to burn off all of that inertia that the vehicle had prior to re-entering the atmosphere.
Yeah, and you can tell by the G meter down on the bottom right that we're starting to pick up a couple more Gs here, so we're definitely entering the thicker part of the atmosphere where we're scrubbing off all that energy, like Kate's saying.
all right, just about 5 minutes or so to go. We're coming up shortly on the maneuver where we're gonna, it's affectionately called the flap slap, where we're going to kind of pitch the nose up on the ship, and you're going to see those aft flaps, the ones in the very bottom, fully deploy.
Ship is at peak dynamic pressure.
And we're now at peak pressure.
Ship flap load test has started.
Looks like it's holding. Again, the intent of that was to put just a lot of extra stress on those aft flaps. We are expecting the forward ones too to see a little bit of extra stress as we've got a little more propellant in our header tank, so the area right at the very nose of
Ship
Starship
flap load test is complete.
And we're through that test.
There we go. And we just did that test at Mach 7, just for reference there. So we are still going incredibly fast.
All right, we are just about 3.5 minutes or so away from our targeted landing burn. Again, we're expecting to try and see 2 of these Raptor engines light for the landing burn. Nominally, we plan for 3, but we're going to give it a try with 2. Hopefully we've got
Ship is starting the RTLS banking maneuver.
And that right there, so we're starting a banking maneuver, and essentially what that is when we come back to Starbase, or when we plan to come back to Starbase, the trajectory is designed so we'll essentially swing out over the Gulf and do a swoop maneuver to then come back to the towers for catch. And so we are doing that exact same maneuver as we head towards our targeted splashdown in the Indian Ocean.
Yeah, and that call out there that we heard, RTLS, stands for Return to Launch Site. So definitely a pretty cool thing we're demoing here on the ship. You know, as in the future, we are going to be trying to bring the ship back to the launch site, which is going to be absolutely insane.
Absolutely. But of course, we want to test out these maneuvers, these principles prior to actually bringing the hardware back to the pad. This is the same reason why we were intentionally not trying to bring the booster back to the pad. So we're trying all these things out in this developmental phase of the vehicle, and really proving what a test flight is.
Absolutely.
Dynamic pressure is coming down.
All right, we heard there, dynamic pressure coming down, and I'd say we're in a pretty good bank right now.
Yeah, executing the power slide. We're about 90 seconds away from our anticipated landing burn.
Tired.
Clouds coming up, pretty sunrise on the other side of the planet.
I had to stop him from falling asleep.
Starship is subsonic and is on target.
The crowd here reacting to that call out, letting us know that we are on target for this precise landing in the Indian Ocean. This will once again be a soft splashdown. We should get some pretty cool views from the recovery team who we chatted with earlier. They are standing by to receive this ship. Once again, this is the first flight of our completely redesigned Starship version 3.
Yeah, and if you remember the suborbital flights from a few years ago, this is very much the same regime that we're in here. So we're sub 15 kilometers, executing what we call the belly flip maneuver.
Yes, serial number 8, the first belly flop. I remember it well. Just some really amazing views of the Earth as the ship is coming back home. Thanks, Starlink.
Yeah, you can see the aft flap there making minor corrections.
Starship is turning for final approach to landing site.
Look at that turn.
There we go. Minor corrections and a full turn.
Yeah, Starship doesn't fly like an airplane. It's a lot more like a skydiver. Full belly flop on the way down, using those flaps similar to arms to help change the path of the air over you. Coming up real soon. again, going for a landing burn, trying to light 2 of these Raptor sea level engines.
Landing burn startup.
Landing burn startup. 2 engines lit. Successful flip. Buoy cam
Starship is
catching
landed.
it.
Good shot time.
Amazing. That ball of
Y'all didn't hear it.
Absolutely. An incredible day for Starship. That was the first.
So, if y'all didn't hear it, but because we were muted, but Silas was literally screaming, "Yeah!" when it fucking did its landing period and exploded.
Crowd in the control room behind me, I will say. It's probably the most excited I've seen a lot of people in a really long time. On target landing.
Absolutely fucking goated. And let's see if they actually have pictures of payload deploy.
From one of those satellites as we deployed. It looks like this was from the last one out. Flashlight turning on, taking a look at Starship in space. The way this system is set up is the satellites are essentially recording it, then making contact with our Starlink constellation, and then transferring that video back down to us on the ground.
Oh, wow.
That's a Starship in space. So aside from just being really cool, this was our test to try and develop a free flyer that we could fire outside of Starship's payload bay, look back at it, and then do essentially a pirouette with Starship to get a look at the heat shield, where it's going to be really important when we start bringing these things back for a catch, which we are.
Silas.
Get over here.
Come here. Oh.
What? What?
Let's walk this way. Let's walk this way. All right, chat. I'm gonna end it. Thank y'all for joining. Tell my I love y'all.